Hello, dear friends, and good morning on the 18th of September. And also happy lunar eclipse to everyone. Obviously, this is going to be the most important topic for today. And I would like to start with a very short, concrete explanation why the lunar eclipse matters, why we are paying so much attention to this. The lunar eclipse is a regular full moon, opposition between the sun and the moon, but the lunar nodes are also somewhere nearby. And astronomically, what happens is that we have the Earth in the middle, and the moon and the sun are on the two sides. And we also know that the moon doesn't have her own light. It's only mirroring the light of the sun. But when we get to this point, the Earth is in the middle and the moon and the sun are on the two sides. Basically, there is no light coming from the sun that the moon can mirror. That's why the moon looks invisible, because she doesn't have this light to share with us. And this is also very, very important for understanding the process, what is happening. So when the moon doesn't have external light to mirror, this is a possibility for us to go really deep into something, pay attention here, without external influence, without the need to mirror something or to be affected by something or to be influenced. Basically, we have, I would say, like higher chance, deeper possibility to kind of like go into something that is more about us. And this could be an internal process. This could be about realizing something, becoming aware of something. This could also be about digging deeper into some kind of, I would say, unrecognized potential or resources, things that potentially, when you are mirroring someone else's light, or it could be a person, it could be some kind of process, something external. So when you are mirroring this light, you don't have the energy or the possibility, or the circumstances are just not right so that you can go deeper into something within yourself. So from one side, the lunar eclipse is kind of like separating us from having access to some kind of external light. And because of that, it might feel also challenging. It could be very intense. It could feel uncomfortable, I would say, because during the rest of the time, we always have this external light to mirror. So from one side, it feels uncomfortable, that's true. But then it's like we are in a completely different environment, and we can kind of like dig deeper into something that otherwise we can't see. And here, it's not so much about seeing, actually, it's more about feeling, exploring, kind of like getting deeper into something. And lunar eclipses, they don't affect us just for a couple of weeks. They can affect us for between 6 months up to a couple of years. So they really are important. It's not something temporary and something superficial. So I think it's obvious now that this is really important for us. So let's take a look at our current eclipse, and also what are the nuances that we are gonna experience. So the eclipse is triggering the signs of Pisces. The moon is in Pisces right next to Neptune, and the sun, which is in Virgo. But the lunar nodes, which we are also considering, are in Libra and Aries. So those signs are mixed. However, the actual eclipse is really happening in the sign of Pisces. So first of all, I would highly recommend you to check the 26th, 27th degree of Pisces. Where is this in your chart? In which concrete house? Do you have important planets or any planets around this degree? or cusps of houses. If you have, then this eclipse is much more important for you, and you are gonna feel this kind of like firsthand, so to speak. After that, you can check the other mutable signs around the same degree. Virgo, first of all, but also Gemini and Sagittarius. Those points are gonna be more influenced than the others. And with the moon together with Neptune in Pisces, here the process can be especially deep. So as I said, like any lunar eclipse is allowing us to go deeper into something without this external influence of mirroring something or someone. But in this case, when the sign is also Pisces, which is basically the deepest sign, which includes everything else, then we really talk about a really, really deep process, going into something which may not be so logical or rational, or we may not even understand it very well with our human brain. So we really need to focus more on our intuition, focus more on sensing things, feeling what would be the right move, what is really important for us, what we would really like to do. And for creative work, for example, this combination is totally amazing, I would say. What's even more interesting is the configuration that the lunar eclipse is part of. This is a kite configuration, which includes the 3 outer planets. So can you imagine this combination? The 2 luminaries, which are the most personal planets, the sun and the moon, are connected to the outer planets, which are the most transpersonal and kind of like deepest and related to subconscious processes. So it's like those things are blending. In other words, for us as individuals, each of us may have a higher chance to connect to something beyond ourselves, something that could be very transformative and potentially very, very important. So try to be more open today, I would say. Not only open-minded, but to open more even on a deeper level, not just your mind, but with your heart, with your senses, with your intuition. Really like look for something more extraordinary, something which is more, I would say, untypical, something which is beyond the rational logic and understanding. So really, really special combination. Lunar eclipse, which includes the 3 outer planets, and the focal point is the moon with Neptune. So even higher focus on the intuitive part, the creative side, the ability to, I would say, to sense something, to find something deeper within ourselves. But the kite, this configuration that we have here, is also very interesting. First of all, it literally looks like a kite. That's why they called it this way. But there is one point, it's like, you know, the kite has a focus, like a direction where it goes. And this is the sun, basically, in our case. The sun is this, you know, like highest point, which is kind of like trying. This is the point from which we are symbolically trying to go higher into something. In other words, this is the point of the thing that, or the energy that could be developed. So the sun is our individuality. The sun is our conscious awareness. So through this process of maybe sensing something, using your intuition, diving deeper into something, relying on something which is beyond the traditional logic, this can actually be very important, very helpful, I would say very transformative for you as an individuality, and for you also in terms of conscious understanding and kind of like seeing things from a different perspective. But first you need to feel them. That's the important thing. So when the moon is invisible, something again is out of reach for the logic, but from the inside we may feel this. And only then we can understand something more on a conscious level, something that can lead more to our individual development or growth, or for some of us, maybe even some kind of process of evolution. So very, very, very special lunar eclipse. And again, I want to congratulate all of us for being able to experience this today. And not only today, as we said, this is the culmination of this lunar cycle, but also any eclipse is affecting us for months, sometimes even years ahead. So one more time, please check, especially the 26 to 27 degree of Pisces. Where is this point in your chart? The other things for today, one more thing also actually about the eclipse. Jupiter has a square. Jupiter has a square with the eclipse, with the sun and the moon, which means that we could be, I would say, overambitious. We may have some really, big expectations or desires. The point is that Jupiter is currently very weak. Jupiter is in Gemini. So, that I would say in this combination, it really applies the rules that the smaller things that you focus on can be more important than the one big thing you might be pursuing. So the progress is more in the smaller steps. And the arrow of this Tau square is in Sagittarius, which means that this is the problematic area, Sagittarius. So maybe our desire to succeed, to do something impressive, to do something big, can be from one side a motivation, from another side something that may trigger some kind of doubts, maybe fears. Again, it can happen through small steps and progress, because Jupiter is in Gemini. So also keep this in mind. The other interesting thing for today is the position of Mercury. So just a few words about it. Mercury has actually many aspects today. So the challenging ones: opposition with Saturn, square and a half with Saturn. And if you see here, this is also a triangle configuration. Triangle configuration with only challenging aspects. And actually, if we add also Jupiter, it's like a configuration. It doesn't have a concrete name, but 4 planets connected with only challenging aspects. So from this perspective, Mercury is, I would say, in an intense position today. Things may not happen as fast as we would like. There could be maybe some delays, maybe some restrictions. On the other side, our desires or our ideas might be very important. There could be lots of intensity because of Pluto. Mercury with Jupiter can make us more ambitious, willing to, make big steps right away. So as you can see, many challenging aspects, but there is one harmonious one, and this is a creative aspect with Uranus. So this is like a solution in this situation. And the solution from Uranus is to do something brand new, something in a different way, something you haven't tried before. If you rely on the old stuff, Saturn, you will face with some kind of resistance. It will not work. If your goal is to do something really big, really significant, most likely also you will be frustrated. If you are like extremely focused, like obsessed with some kind of idea, also things will be more challenging. The only approach that brings, I would say, lightness and new possibilities is really to allow yourself to experiment, to try something new, and kind of like to set free from the other things, the other expectations or approaches. So a bit in a freer way, a bit more willing to try something new, maybe even to experiment, and without attachment. Uranus is probably the only planet, or at least maybe some planets are also close to this, but not as much as Uranus. Uranus is the most detached planet, detached from concrete results, from emotional things, from external things. The impulse of Uranus is just to do something new, to experiment, and to focus more, I would say, on something creative. So that's how we can achieve more today. Set free from expectations, don't get attached, don't get obsessed about something. Just do it in a, I would say, free mode. That's the best strategy today. So, as I already said, happy lunar eclipse and full moon to everyone. May it bring I would say, more constructive energies into our lives. Again, this is not a simple energy, so be prepared for some kind of intensity, but also keep in mind that during intense times, we also have more possibilities to do something meaningful or to achieve more significant shifts, more significant changes and transformations. So thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow.